We're back. And we're live.
We are live. Hey guys, what's going on?
Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing great today.
What are we doing today?
We are hopefully going to finish this cabinet today. It's been a couple weeks in the making. Well, I've only been working 1 day a week on it, but it's coming along. So right now we've kind of got the carcass basically done, the little shelves inside, and everything's just kind of free floating right now with joinery. There's no glue yet. Still need to take everything apart and sand it. I'm gonna round over these edges here, do that kind of stuff on it, kind of the finishing touches. And then what I'm working on right now are the door fronts. So these guys are gonna sit here. I got two of them, kind of here, and it's a nice book match of walnut here. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now is I need to notch out the little notches in the doors so that they fit over here. I'm gonna notch right here, then I'm gonna put a brass dowel that goes through there as a hinge. This is all kind of an experiment for me. I don't really, not done doors this way before, so we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, follow along, see if it works or if it's a epic fail. No, I think it'll be all right. But that's kind of what we're working on right now. So I'll be going back and forth between the bench here and the table saw. Kind of be moving you guys around as we go. Glad to have you guys back this week. So, to show you kind of the measurements we're working with, I'm using these brass washers. I'll come and do a little close-up to show you. I think they're probably, let me check real quick. Yeah, they're under a 1/16 inch. So I'm doing just about a 1/16 to give it a little bit of play for expansion and contraction, but it's kind of the, get close up here. Tiny little thing, there you go. So it's kind of the measurements I'm trying to get that accurate today. Less than a 1/16, hopefully. Getting it nice and tight, but plan for expansion and contraction within the wood as well, with time and humidity changes. Alright, so before I go cutting, just gonna mark so that I don't cut out the wrong section, because that would not be good. Better to go overboard than make a mistake, 'cause that's what we're doing. Alright, I think we're good to go. Just gonna make marks all the way around just so we have everything laid out nicely. I hope whoever's watching, I hope you're doing well today. I know there's been some crazy weather going on in California and also in the, I believe in the Midwest and over that area. There's been some tornadoes and all kinds of stuff. So hope everyone's healthy and safe today. Okay. Go like that. Just double check things are good here. Alright. Now, gonna jump over to the table saw. Bear with us. We gotta move the cameras around here. You guys some action shots going on. And we got two cameras going at once, so might be a little back and forth here. Thanks for joining, everybody. Right. Hope you guys can see me okay. Well, first things first, I'm going to set the depth of the blade here. I'm just using my pencil line as reference. I think I like that where it is. Set my stop on here, make sure everything's lined up. And it's a little challenging because these door fronts are, because they're so figured, they are a little bit warped. So it's a little bit of a challenge to try to get these things to straighten out. And I do have a plan, I guess you could say, of trying to get them to straighten out. Right now they're kind of bowed in the opposite direction, so we'll have to address that and figure out kind of a method. I've already tried the whole adding moisture to one side and everything, and helped a little bit, but then it went right back to where it was. So hoping that can do a little bit more permanent solution than that. Pretty close, and I'm going to use this nifty micro adjuster here to get right where I want it. That's pretty close right there. Just go straight through that. Looks good. Now I got to turn everything on. up on a little bit more than that. I was playing it safe that time. Trying a little micro adjustment here. That right there. Now let's see if it's the same on the other side. Tiny little micro adjustments. I'm gonna go with that for now. I'd rather play it safe than take off a little too much and then it's too loose. So this week and the next couple weeks, my kind of camera helper guy is going to be gone, so I'll be having to do everything by myself, woodworking wise, and then moving the cameras for you. So yeah, if you guys could just have a little patience with that, it'd be very much appreciated. So now I need to, and now it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but not too bad. I basically have to cut from here to here without cutting these ends off. So I'm going to have to kind of set the fence right where I want it and then raise the blade up, which can be a little bit dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. And then I'll probably have to take the little fin off there as well. And I should say, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything, I do have a little computer set up right now that I can look at, but the only one that I'm able to view is on YouTube. So if you guys do want to interact or, comment or ask any questions, head on over to YouTube, and we have a live going on that one as well. If you guys are on Instagram, so go on YouTube and then comment, and I'll be able to see that. I won't be able to check it, constantly, but I'll check it every now and then to see if anybody's saying anything. Yes, I'm also seeing that a reminder for myself and all of you guys that we had a giveaway last week. So I believe they're announcing or already announced the winners. But yeah, some really cool stuff that our partner Jeremy made. Okay. Now we're going to do a little adjustment here. Smidge less than that. Like I said before, it's always better to work up to your final cut rather than accidentally doing a tiny bit too much, and then you can't get your wood stretcher out and try to fix the mistake. Let's see if you guys can even see what I'm doing here. Yeah, we should be good to go. Oh, no, before I do that, I need to take off this blade guard here. And remember how to do that. I'm still new to all these machines here, so let me raise it all up. Yes, there's this little thing you just pull out here and twist. And that just comes right off. It needs a little bit of help. Sorry, I'm going to block you guys for a second here. Oh, well, there you go. Easy enough. Sorry, that was probably really loud in the audio. Let's reset this now. I'm going to try that out and see what happens here. So, lower the blade all the way down. Put my piece kind of where I need it. And again, I don't recommend doing this at home. It can be fairly dangerous. Definitely want to keep your fingers out of the way when you're raising it up. So let's see where that is. Right. Minor adjustment. Test here. That's exactly where I want it there. So now, I need to making sure that I'm not going to cut this piece off when I raise the blade up. Slowly raise the blade. Slowly is the key word. Stop right there. All right. So got a bit of a ways to go there. Basically, I'm just trying to get most of this out with the table saw to get a nice clean line, and then I'm going to use a handsaw to cut out the rest, and then a chisel to really shave it off and make it nice and clean. But I'm just trying to do most of the work with the table saw here. So. All the way down again. About where I want to end it. And then I'll go ahead and, like I said before, finish the cut with a handsaw. Get that corner in there. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. Finish that with handsaw and then go through with a chisel and clean it up. But at least this middle section is going to be a dead straight, clean line. And then we won't have to worry about chiseling that dead straight. So that one's good to go. Now this one here. And then we'll do the same idea. Lay it all the way down. Piece in place. Start the machine. Slowly raise the blade up. I definitely wouldn't recommend this cut for a beginner, unless you have a really nice table saw setup and you have experience. I definitely wouldn't recommend doing this because it can definitely, you know, if you do it wrong, it can pinch and it can kick up and cause some real damage. So don't do it unless you have experience. All right, so I'm done on the table saw with these, and I'll bring them over to the bench now. Let me see what we got going over here for comments. All right, a little bit of camera shaking here as we bring you over. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but we had a couple new little tools added to the shop. We got my DeWalt planer over here, right over there. And then this morning I was just kind of playing around with the setup over here for the, see if I can show you guys at the same time. We have the bandsaw kind of right there next to the dust collector. And then we have the table saw. So I was just kind of playing around with shop layout, trying to get it efficient. Make sure everything is kind of in a nice flow. That's kind of what we were doing. Now, going to be off camera for just a sec. I'm going to put these in the vise and do it that way. It'd be much easier. One down. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. You guys can see that. So I basically just got the rest of that out, and now I'll go through with the chisel and kind of clean this up, make it nice and flat with this section here. Might try a little bit with the hand plane, but chisel might be easier. So I'll just repeat that step on. Actually, before I do that, let me see how it fits here. Movement. Let's see how it fits with the washers in here. Perfect. That's right what I wanted. Just about, say, less than a 60, I'd say closer to a 30-second of movement, which is right where I want it. So basically that's going to hinge up just like that. And now, we'll cut this section out. those in place. Just gonna go through with a really sharp chisel here and kind of shave away what we don't need anymore. You guys can see that. Oh, tiny bit to clean up there. Okay, it's looking good. So now we clean that up. You guys can see that. Clean that up. Here's a before and after. Before, pretty ugly. After, nice clean edge. And that'll fit on there nicely once I get this one chiseled out as well. Tell you what, I'm gonna try to plane some of this down a little bit with the hand plane here. It's a little bit tight to try to do this, but just to kind of hog some of that material out. One of the things I enjoy about woodworking is that there's so many different ways to accomplish a task. And obviously there's some things that are the right way to do things, and some things are just kind of left up to interpretation. So my personal experience has been basically just teaching myself kind of how to do everything and taking my time and until things kind of come out the way that I'm wanting them to. So I know a lot of my methods and stuff are not the, traditional methods necessarily, but they get me to from point A to point B, so that's what I need. Never had any formal teaching when it comes to woodworking. Essentially just kind of self-taught, as I know a lot of you guys are. Got some fun grain we're working with here. I have to approach that at a different angle here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Alright. Oh, cool. Now to remember which side this was. I believe it was this side over here. Just like that. Awesome. Alright, so that's basically what's going to be happening right there for the door. That action. And Stacy commented, taking your time is a major reason why I watch. It's real and the way most of us work, not just a social media post. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you get a lot of these time-lapse type videos and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. It shows the whole process in a really short period of time, but a lot of woodworking is just really tedious, time-consuming work. So I think some people will appreciate that, but in the social media age that we're in, it's a lot of people lose attention span, which I get. I mean, sometimes it's not fun to watch somebody do something that takes, working on a tiny cabinet like this for hours at a time. It's not always fun to watch, but I don't know, some people might enjoy it, so that's kind of why we're doing it. And we also have other things planned for different videos and more entertainment type content that other people might enjoy. Still kind of brainstorming on some of that stuff. Also thinking about doing maybe some like tutorials and things along that line. So yeah, if you guys have any thoughts in that regard of like what type of content you like to see on the channel, definitely let us know. little hand plane is really cool. My first time using it. Which one is it? I don't know if it says on there. I don't think it says, but it's Bridge City. It's one of their tools, and man, this thing is great. I really like it. And it's like adjustable. You can do a bunch of stuff with it. I don't even fully know all the little options yet, but it's got all kinds of crazy options you can work with and do with it. This is probably not the ideal circumstance to be using it, but oh, there you go. The HP 6FX. Thank you, Sam. And there's even a link there for you guys to go look at and check out. Check out all the things it can do, because I honestly don't even know all the things. It's like honestly, it's like a little multi-tool plane. So definitely go check it out and see what it can do. I don't even know if I'm using it in the right context, honestly. So, like, I don't have a lot of experience using hand planes and all that kind of stuff. I don't even know all the different kinds there are. I just kind of use them as I feel like I need them. So, a lot of times you'll probably see me using a lot of the Bridge City stuff, like, incorrectly or not in the right context, but honestly, that's just kind of, no one ever taught me, so I'm just kind of figuring out as I go. And I do spend a lot of my free time researching and looking into educational videos and stuff like that for myself. So it's not like I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my pants kind of thing. I definitely try to learn the correct way to use tools and do things the right way, but it's a lot of stuff to learn, so one thing at a time, right? I'm trying to take really shallow cuts out of this because I don't want to chip out anything, have any tear out from the chisel going too much and pulling the wood fibers up. The point is to cut the wood fibers, not pull them out. A little bit at a time. It's a little difficult because the grain's going the wrong way here. Okay, I think we're getting close. Alright, that one seems pretty good. Make sure there's no high spots. Perfect. So I don't even know who's watching right now, but if there's anybody watching, question for you: what's your favorite part of the woodworking process? You know, I guess you could say there's the beginning phases where you plan out your project, kind of design process. There's the actually getting your materials. Then you have to work with figuring out what material is going to work in what area and stuff like that. And then there's the stuff like this where you're just taking a while just to get a little bit work done. You guys enjoy that, or you enjoy kind of the more like designing and seeing a lot of it come together at once? Personally, I'd say I like the kind of the fine, kind of like this work, taking my time, getting things just really precise. And my whole goal is to make furniture and pieces that are going to last a lifetime, and also that people look at and kind of be like, wow, like that thing was made really well. Because I'd rather take a little bit of time, a little extra time now to get it really precise than wish I would have done it, and you can't go back at that point when the project's already finished. Any thoughts? Let me see if anybody's saying anything on Instagram here. We have somebody on Instagram. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but they're asking, can you show us the router? The answer is yes. I will actually be using the router in a little while. So if you stick around, you'll get to see me using that. The setup, which is going to be right over there connected to that, YouTube right over here. So I will be using that in a little while. I do need to put some roundovers on the doors as well as some pieces in here. So I'm going to be using the router table in a little while. All right, so I think I'm pretty happy with these and how flat they are. Put together nicely. That's one of my favorite parts about the woodworking process, is when something that you're planning for actually works out like you were planning. It's very satisfying to have that happen. Take these pieces of tape off now. Nice looking walnut. It is, isn't it? This stuff is great. I got this up in Seattle before I moved down to California, and I've been wanting to do a project with it. All of this stuff is actually made from the same board, which is really cool. The same two boards I found. They were book matched pieces, and I found them in the pile of walnut out there, and I decided, man, I gotta get these. I didn't even have a project in mind, but they were too pretty to pass up, so definitely got them. And yeah, now I'm using them for a project, and I'm really excited that it's gonna be something, a little piece that I'll have for hopefully the rest of my life. All right, let's see how it fits together. Couple answers to the question about what part of woodworking people like. So we have Van Stray says the part where the cuts and the pieces start to come together and look like a finished piece. That is very satisfying, because when you have a bunch of pieces just kind of laying around everywhere, it's one thing, but then when they start to actually look like something, that's a whole nother thing. to have it come together. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Rayson says, this is my Thursday therapy. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Rayson. And then we have Stacy Lewis, Bespoke Furniture and Design, says, I love this part. And working with the tools can become almost a part of you, particularly hand tools. I totally agree. Then there's problem solving. I like that too. Just the process of it all. Yeah, I mean, the whole process is kind of honestly, it can be very addictive to get into because you just get kind of sucked into your work, and it's just really, I don't know, therapeutic. I like that word. Just doing another little test run with my washers to make sure everything's spaced out correctly here. Everything's working good. I was actually worried when I started the project that I wasn't going to be able to find the proper washers because I have let me show you real quick. I have a little brass rod. I just got this from Home Depot or Lowe's. I can't remember which one, hardware store. And that's basically what I'm going to use as like a little dowel to go in. I'm going to put it right through the door here into this other piece and lock that together to act as a pivot point for the door. So that's the plan. Hopefully it works out. But that's kind of what we're doing. And then I wanted to stick with the brass. Because I had brass, I wanted to stick with brass. So I found these brass washers, but when I started the project, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to find the right ones, but I did. I found them. Thanks, Home Depot. Pulled through. And one of the other problems that I do need to solve with this cabinet is, like I said before, the doors are, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on camera, but I'll try to show it. They're a little curved. So I don't know if you can see that. It's curved that way, YouTube, if you can see that. But we've got a little curve going on there. And the not so great part is that they're curved opposite because they're book matched. They're both curved this way when you open it up. And then, so now this one's curved this way, this one's curved that way. So there's a little bit of work that I'll have to do. I'm going to try, basically what I'm going to try to do is cut out some slots in the back here and put in, drop the washer, and put in some, I have some Ipe wood, I think that's how you pronounce it, IPE, and the stuff's just like super hard, and it's pretty straight grain, so I think I'm going to try to use that to see if I can glue a piece in there into the door in the back of it and see if it'll kind of retain that, help pull the wood the other way. Hopefully it does. If not, then I don't know, I'll have to figure something out. But overall, I'm not too worried about it. I think it's going to come together really nicely either way. So, all right, what to move on to now? So we have these. Everything's good there. I'm planning for about, I think I was planning for just shy of an 1/8 gap in the middle here. That way it gets me enough for some expansion contraction if it does happen. I don't want to put them too tight. Okay, what to move on to now? All right, so I think I will actually move over to the router table at this point, because what I need to do is put a round over on these on both sides of the doors so that they can hinge and not hit with these corners, as well as I need to round over these faces on both sides of these side pieces. So I'm gonna try to go and get set up over there. I'll bring you guys over to kind of show you the process, and I do have to actually take this apart, so maybe this is a good point to show you guys kind of the method that I use for putting all this together. those shavings out of there. Clean work surface is always important. So, essentially what I did was create kind of like a box joint. I don't know if you can see it here. I'm not sure how good you guys can see, but basically created like a little box joint here, and this piece just pops off. A little help. Nice and snug in there. Just like that. Boom. And then I'll just lay them out so you can kind of see. So I have this back piece. Yeah, I'll just show you that in a second. And the top's the same as the bottom, so you guys can see that. And then these pieces just pop off the sides here. There you are. And that's essentially it. This piece I'll show you in a second. Put that aside for now. And then this is my back panel that I glued up and had to kind of, I did use a nice hand plane to kind of flatten it. It was a little bit warped. So I flattened that out, sanded it, and then, I don't know if you can see here, but I did just kind of like a little tongue here so that it would rest inside here. And I'm really trying to just avoid using a lot of fasteners on this one. Right now I don't have any fasteners, which is cool. I'm gonna try to just use glue where I need it, and everything else can kind of be floating in place. So essentially this kind of gets slotted right in there, and then it'll be flush with the back here, if you can see that or not. So that's essentially what we got going on. And then this piece, pretty simple. All I did was, each of them has these little grooves to give it a little bit of support. Yeah. Oh, geez, see if I can even get them out now. Sometimes you fit it a little too well in there, huh? There we go. So half, kind of a, I don't know what joint that would be called. Half lap? No, I don't know. But essentially that's what I did there. Just put that down in there. Actually, I do need to take these apart anyways. And then this one's nice and tight in there. There we go. Oh, that's satisfying when everything slides together like that. All right, so now I just need to make sure that I'm going to be routing the right surfaces here. Should have marked everything before I took it apart. Essentially, I have to put it back together now to just make sure I'm doing it right. This one was the one that was right here. Let's see if this one slides on there. Right, that's what I want. It's a little bit tight. All right. So everything's good there. Now what I want to do is round off all the verticals going up this way. And then I'm just going to leave these and then just do a tiny bit of bevel on them. I might just do that with sandpaper just to break the edge a little bit so it's not sharp. And then I did set these back a hair just to give it a little bit more of a profile and not everything's just not right together like that. So basically I'm going to mark these that this is what I'm cutting. Nothing fancy, just a squiggly line. This front, okay, we're good. Pop this back off. And this is the reason why I wanted to really, I know I've been kind of very tedious with this and taking my time like a little too much, but I wanted everything to be nice and clean, fit together. I didn't want too many gaps in there. And yeah. All right, so, and then I know that this is my front here and this is my front that I need to router. So bring these, as well as the door fronts. And we'll go over to the router here. Put my pieces on the good old dust collector, the old G700. And we'll bring you guys over there to check out what we're doing. What's a good area to set you guys up? I think that works. Yeah, that should be all right. So I just currently have a round over bit on this. It's just got a bearing. So I'm just gonna try to set it up to where it's just giving me nice, clean, rounded corners. And router setups are interesting. This one's really nice. However, I'm still not 100% on how to use everything. I think I kind of got it all figured out, but I'm still kind of learning on the fly here, so figure some stuff out. That's pretty good. All right. Got my old Bridge City Precision straight edge here. And I'm just gonna line this up, make sure that it's right where I want it. Okay. And I know there are micro adjustments on this, but I'm not 100% on how to use them. I used it once so far, so I'm still trying to all this fancy schmancy gear here. All right, that's where I want it there. And I'm just gonna eyeball the depth here. Where's the little tool? Here it is. So this one's really nice because it has this little guy here. And I believe on the bottom it's just gonna be a, like right now we just have it set up with a Bosch router. And the table, the fence, everything is Harvey. So, and I used it once so far, and I really like it. So I'm just gonna do some minor adjustments. Oh yeah, forgot we have a little lock here. Lock, unlock. So unlocking that. Now I can set my depth with this gauge here, and it's really nice because you can just easily tune it to exactly where you want it. I'm gonna start a little low and work my way up here. Then lock it back down. There you go. And the dust collection on this thing is, honestly, it's insane. The suction that this thing gives, coming from the G700 is pretty crazy. And then let's see, I need to plug the router in. And we are still kind of setting up the shop here, so we got extension cords everywhere and hoses going like crazy. So we're just trying to figure out the right flow for the workshop. We got a lot of machines going in here, planning on putting a few more, so just trying to figure out kind of the best setup for everything. And then now I'm just gonna grab a scrap piece because I don't want to cut on my finished piece. Okay, so this is just a scrap piece of the same material I was using before. And I'm just gonna make sure it's gonna spin in that direction, going into it. Okay, and this thing's super loud, so I'm not sure how it's gonna fare with you guys on the mic. So, fair warning, it may be pretty loud, but we'll see. Make sure you can see everything here. A little shaky. Okay. And I'm actually going to cap off one of these dust collection ports from the bandsaw so that we get more suction on the surface we're working with. realized I'm just gonna use this guy instead of hold my fingers that close. I felt fine doing it, but just to be safe. Feed direction that way. this back over here, and I'll show you guys what we did. Excuse the mess. Let's get a little closer here. Okay. So these are going to be the side pieces that the doors lock into. So the reason I put a round over on that, on this edge here, is because I want it to be nice and round there. See that? Creating kind of like a little hinge. And then I'll put like I said, a brass rod through there. Hopefully, create a nice little wooden hinge with no hardware. Alright, and then now what I need to do is I need to drill holes directly through the ends of these, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get it nice and precise. Excuse me. However, I do have something that will help. I'm going to swing you guys around so we can see the vise here. Alright, so this is going to be my first time ever using this tool, actually. This is another Bridge City tool here. It's a DJ3 Universal Drilling Jig. Looks like this. And essentially what it is it creates, put on your board and it centers your hole for you. So you get a direct center. That's the most basic use for it. But I know there's a lot of more complicated uses that you could do. There's all kinds of these, grooves to hold things and everything. And there's different, there's I don't know what you call it, drill bit guides that you can exchange for different size drill bits, which is pretty cool. Right now I have it set up with an 1/8 because that's what that brass rod that I have, that's the one I'll be using. So let's put these in here and see if we can get a hole lined up. So essentially what I'm going to do is basically just put this on there like that, and it just clamps together and centers it right on the board. The only thing I need to figure out is how far back here the hole needs to go and how do I get that measurement. That's kind of a bit of a challenge here. Not sure how I want to do that. I think first things first, I need to mark my center on the hole. Just gonna eyeball this and see what we got going here for center. It's pretty close. So essentially what I'm doing is just treating this, so now I have a rounded edge here. I'm just treating this as a complete circle and I need to find a direct center of that. how do we make it so that we get the exact spot we want it on the board? That's something I need to figure out. I'm just checking some comments, see if there's anybody saying anything over here. Stacy Lewis Design says Bridge City has a little centering jig. That's pretty simple. Not sure if you have it nearby. I don't have it nearby right now. We have boxes of them here, but I do not know where they are. So at this point, I'm just going to try to do my best, and I think I'll get it pretty accurate with kind of what I got going on here. So we have 3/4 to the edge of the drill bit. Minus approximately 3/16. So I'm going to do a test piece again because I don't want to obviously drill in the wrong spot. There it is. Got a little test piece over here with a little round over on it. And I believe you can actually clamp these together too to get a nice nice tight fit, which I'm gonna grab some clips. Or clamp, I should say. Give these a nice squeeze. And I did see that it moved a little bit, so. Loosen these, keep it nice and tight there. Just gonna check again. Okay. I think that should work. Now, let's give it a shot. Oh, you know what? I don't know where the drills are. Classic issue. I think my drills went walking off somewhere. Okay. Did find a drill. A little Milwaukee M12. See if it'll do the job. Now the other thing I'm wondering is if I have a bit long enough to. I know I'll be able to go through this one, but how well it would do going through all of them. This bit is not ideal. It is not sharp at all. However, it will suffice for a test run. All right, I am not mad at that at all. So let's see here. All right, put my mic back on. And another set of drill bits. Hopefully we have the right size and hopefully it's sharp enough. And they look okay at best. But we can give it a shot anyways. Funny because in school I always thought, oh, I'm never going to use math or anything like that, and then turns out I use it every day. And I wish I would have studied a little harder. Practiced a bit more, but now I get to practice every day using math. Where I want it. I don't believe you have to use a clamp for this, but I think it's just probably good practice just to have it locked in place real nice. All right. Let's see if these bits work any better. All right. It's through. Let's see. Top looks good. That looks awesome. Right where I want it. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's perfectly centered in there. I shouldn't have any issues lining it up with the other one. Now just repeat the process a couple more times. Gotta say, this little square I think is probably one of my favorite tools I've used. This thing's awesome. Clamped, locked in, double check that it's in the right location. Good to go. All right, round 2. Nice. Looks good. I will say there's just no way that I'd be able to do that without this jig that I'm using right now. Just to get it lined up perfectly and have it go right where I want it to go. It would just be very hard to get it lined up. So that door is pretty much done. Repeat the process on this one. Double check. so nice to have a tool that's just reliable every time that you can trust and count on to do the same thing over and over. Don't have to worry about making little mistakes because your tools aren't accurate enough. Alright. Doors have holes in them where I want them to be. Now, the challenge is going to be these side pieces because I have this notch that I need to do. I'm tempted to just freehand it, drilling, because I don't need to go that deep in. I just need it to be, I'd say maybe ½ inch or something around that area, just to get enough in that it'll stay in place and not move around. I don't know if I'll be able to, this is what I'm worried about here, see if I put it on, then I have the depth. I don't even think I have a long enough bit that'll go down that far. Oh, I do actually. And it still stays pretty centered on there. So actually, you know what? I might just do what I just did. Yeah, honestly, I think I'm just gonna use what I got here. Falling on the piece there. Ah. I have another hole here that this back section is just going right into. See if we can clamp it up and hold it in place. All right, let's see where that's at. Eyeball it here with this, see where things are lining up. Looks pretty good to me. I'm just gonna go for it. Not too bad. Check the depth that I have. Yeah. A little over half an inch, that's alright. It's gonna be really exciting when I can put these pins in and see if these doors actually work like they're supposed to. That'll be interesting. I have the same problem on this side. Just needs to slide back just a tiny bit. It's too much, of course. Alright, I think that's good. Okay. Nice. I think that'll work fine. Now, basically, just need these holes to line up. I know this part's a little slow and tedious, guys, to watch, but once this is done, then I think we're pretty well on our way to finishing it and, yeah, getting it sanded down and glued up and put some finish on it. So that was the fun part, seeing it pop for the first time. Looking. Yep, I'm gonna call that good. It's usually how it goes. It gets easier as you go, and then by the last one you do it really quick, and then you don't need to do it anymore. It's funny how that works, huh? But if you're batch making stuff, then you can kind of make sure it all fits together nicely. But on one-off stuff like this, you know, it's kind of a shame you can't really, once you finally get something down, so you don't really need it anymore. That's good for that one. I don't know if you saw that, but my microphone fell off and got caught on the vise there. Alright, now I'm gonna do one last test fit, make sure everything's looking good and kind of fitting together properly. Bring you guys this way. Alright, now comes reassembly and seeing how everything looks. And of course my router took off my marks. I'm trying to see which one's which here. Can't really tell. We'll just test it out and see if we can figure it out here. There we go. And this one's the tight one, I think. Cool. So now I don't know if you can see that, but we got that rounded profile on that one. Adds kind of a cool, like, I don't know, depth to it. Locks together nicely. I'll break these edges with some sandpaper, just do a light round over on those. Am I putting these in the right place here? Nope, I did it backwards. Did it backwards, folks. To undo it. fit together properly. It's coming along. A lot of little pieces to line up here. Something's not right. I think I have one of them backwards. Yep. All right, well, flip it around again. Oh, it's like a giant puzzle. Try the other piece so it goes in easier. All right, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, got that. Now let's see if this one will go in smoothly. This is the struggle with having things all loose and no fasteners, is that everything has to just slide together in one time. Makes it a little difficult to put it together here. There we go. All right. Starting to come together. These nice roundovers here, here, And big reveal. Which way switch here? I think we're gonna do it like that. Doors should be going on like this. Something like that. Oh, you guys can't even see it. I'm sorry, guys. All right, that's a little bit better. So, doors go on like that, hinge open, and our tiny little tea cabinet. Pretty cool. I think that's where I'm going to end the live today, and then I'll keep working on this a little bit. Hopefully next week I'll be able to show you the finished product. And I got these really cool handles I'm going to throw on there as well that I made. Right here. So these I'm going to glue up together, and then they're going to be notched into the doors like that. So I think that'll be a nice touch at the very end there. All right, well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me get you guys focused here. Alrighty, folks. Well, thanks for hanging in there today. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'm going to be signing out for the day. Like I said, I'm going to keep working on the cabinet here, but yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we're going to be here every Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific time, so continue to follow along. We got some more cool projects coming up. I think I'm not going to reveal what the next one is. We're still working on it, but next week we might be starting a new project, so definitely check that out. Harvey Industries International. Yeah, that's all I got for you today, guys. So thanks again, and we will see you next week.